A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations present Suspense.
Tonight, Autolite brings you Mr. Joseph Cotton in The Day I Died, a suspense play produced and directed by Anton M. Leader.
Friends, the 4th of July weekend is coming up with a lot of reckless weekend driving. So remember, take care, don't take chances. Reckless driving can put you in a spot you can't pull out of. Yes, even a dandy dependable Autolite Stay Full battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use can't help you then.
Your life depends on normal, safe car driving. Be extra safe.
And an Autolite Stay Full battery is protected by fiberglass insulation for stronger life and longer life. Why, in recent tests conducted according to the Society of Automotive Engineers Life Cycle Standards, Autolite Stay Full batteries gave 70% longer average life than batteries without Stay Full features. So ask your dealer for an Autolite Stay Full battery.
And this weekend and all the time, take care. Don't take chances.
Be battery right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite presents Mr. Joseph Cotton in a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning. Why is that window open?
It's getting stuffy in here.
I told you to keep it closed. You might be seen from the street.
I haven't gone anywhere near it. No one
Don't argue with me, Wells. Keep that window closed. And the shade down.
Now, just a minute. I'll give the orders around here. You're still my wife, Leslie, and this is still my house.
You're forgetting something, aren't you, Wells? I'm not your wife. I'm your widow. And it's been my house ever since the day you died.
I had no comeback. I did what Leslie told me because, well, she was right. A dead man can't put up much of an argument. He has no authority, not even with his wife. Things had been different once. I had money, power, and there was nobody in the world who would have presumed to tell Wells Galloway what to do. But that was before a certain evening in July up at Lake Latimer. That was before Red Tuttle, my law partner, paid me a visit at my cabin up there. In other words, that was before the day I died. I was alone. I'd gone to the cabin to be alone, to try to figure things out. The money was gone by that time. I'd thrown it away, hundreds of thousands of dollars in good living and gambling. And in a sense, Leslie was gone, too. Oh, she was still my wife, but the man she loved was Norman Vail, and I knew it, and she knew I knew it, and she didn't much care. So this time I'd come up to the cabin without my rifle because I wasn't planning to do any hunting. But I brought along a revolver for reasons I didn't admit to myself. And I left it lying on the table in the living room. I was staring at it that evening when I heard the cab from the village stop down on the highway. There was still a little light, and I saw a shock of flaming red hair on the path between the trees, and I knew my partner was going to honor me with his presence. I thought I knew why, too, and I wasn't wrong.
I couldn't believe my eyes, Wells. I still can't believe it. I came all the way up here just to hear you say it isn't true.
You wasted your time, Red. It is true.
But good Lord, man, we were appointed trustees of that estate. Taking those bonds was a criminal act. Why did you do such a thing?
I needed the money.
Well, I hope you're ready to pay it back before the heirs get wind of it.
I'm not. I haven't got a cent.
Then what are you going to do?
I don't know yet.
You certainly don't expect me to... Is that what you're thinking, Wells? It is, isn't it? Well, I'll be hanged if I'll do it. I'm not going to take a beating to cover up for you. You cash those bonds and you'll make them good.
Oh, go away, will you, Rad?
What?
I said go away. I don't care what you do about those bonds. I've got more important things to worry about.
Like your wife, Wells? Well, don't expect any pity from me there, either.
I'm not asking you for anything.
You're responsible for losing Leslie. No man could treat a woman the way you've treated Leslie and get away with it. Well, you made a slave of her. You practically locked her up in your house.
I think you'd better go away, Red.
I'll go when I get the money to buy back those bonds, not before.
Oh, for the luck. Here's my ring. Here's my watch. Take them. They ought to be worth something. Take them, and get out.
I'll take them, Wells, but it's not enough.
That's all I've got, I tell you. Now leave me alone.
All right. When I leave here, I'm going to the police.
Police?
Yes. If you think I'm going to suffer for your mistakes, you're wrong. I'm going to bring charges against you before the Prescotters start prosecuting the firm. Why, you dirty... That was another mistake, Wells. I won't take that either. He was stronger than I am.
His blow caught me on the chin, and I went staggering across the room. I crashed against the mantel of the fireplace. The kerosene lamp had been burning there. It toppled off and fell on the floor, but I hardly noticed it. My eyes were on something else. On that revolver that lay on the table by the window. I don't remember picking it up. I only remember how it felt in my hand.
Wells! No, Wells! Put it down! Wells!
The first shot dropped red to the floor. But I kept on firing because I couldn't stop. This was power again, the power to kill, and I loved it. But not for long. With the last bullet, the spell was broken, and then was when the fear came. I'd never known fear before. I wasn't prepared to deal with it. It took hold of me. It shook me until I was trembling from head to foot. It brought the sweat popping out of every pore. It wouldn't let me approach the body, not even to reclaim my ring and watch. It carried me out of the cabin and sent me stumbling into the darkening woods. And I spent the night there, wandering blindly through the blackness. In my hand, I still carried the gun. Long before dawn, I began to wonder why I hadn't saved one shell, just one. For if my life had reached dead end a few hours ago, then what would you call this? Where did I go now that I was wanted for murder? It was daylight when I came out of the woods. There was a truck rumbling toward me. Desperate men take desperate chances.
Give me a lift to the city?
Why, sure, mister. Hop in.
Heard about it. Wells Galloway was wanted for murder. I knew that right away. I knew it from the way he looked me over, but it didn't matter. Nothing mattered. This really was dead end.
I guess you're okay, mister. Shut the door.
What do you mean, okay?
Well, I thought maybe you're the guy I heard about back at Lake Latimer.
What guy?
Well, there was a murder back there last night. One fella shot another one in a cabin, then burned the cabin down.
Burned it down?
Sure. Right to the ground. Couldn't even have identified the body. Only they found a ring and a watch on it. I figured you might be the killer, but he's a redhead. Boy named Tuttle. Guy killed was his law partner. Big shot with a fancy moniker. Something like, Wells Galloway.
Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Mr. Joseph Cotton in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hello there, Harlow. I hear you're going to speak at the 4th of July picnic.
I sure am, Hap, and by happy coincidence, I just happen to have a copy of my speech right here.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say, on this glorious occasion, it behooves us all to think about that dandy, dynamic, dependable Autolite Stay Full battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
Mm-hmm.
On this historic occasion, my friends, let's look at facts. An Autolite Stay Full battery practically eliminates one of the major causes of battery failure. And in addition, it's protected by fiberglass insulation for stronger life, longer life.
My.
Think, my friends, longer life. In recent tests conducted according to the Society of Automotive Engineers Life Cycle Standards, Autolite Stay Full batteries gave 70%, yes, 70% longer average life than batteries without Stay Full features.
It's inspired, Harlow.
So remember these words that will go ringing down the corridors of time. An Autolite Stay Full battery needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. And at this point, Hap, I take a long, cold drink of water.
Why?
Because I'm thirsty. You know, I'm not an Autolite Stay Full battery.
And at this point, suspense.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Joseph Cotton as Wells Galloway in The Day I Died. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
So the day I killed my partner turned out, as far as the law was concerned, to be the day I died. It was my body the police had decided that was lying back there in the charred ruins of my cabin on Lake Latimer. It was Red Tuttle, not Wells Galloway, who was wanted for murder. The truck driver dropped me on the outskirts of the next city. I went into a barbecue joint, sat down at the counter, and pieced the story together. The kerosene lamp I'd knocked off the mantel, that was what had started the fire, and it was the ring and the watch I'd given Red that enabled the police to identify the body that had been burned beyond recognition, to identify it as me, Wells Galloway. That much was clear. But what wasn't clear was what to do about it. What's the next step after you've been pronounced dead?
Well, here's the egg, fella. Nice day.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Beautiful day. Kind of day, it's great to be alive.
He made me see the point, the man behind the counter, the point I'd been missing. It was great to be alive, especially if everybody thought you were dead, especially if the life you'd been living had reached an impasse and you were broke and your wife was in love with another man and you were wanted by the police and your only hope lay in a chance to start over, to start from scratch. That's what they were giving me. Handing it to me on a silver platter, a fresh start, a clean slate. I was dead. Now I could begin living again.
Well, now, let's see. Orange juice, 2 eggs, bacon, coffee, huh? That'll be 80 cents, please. 82 with tax.
But that was another point the counterman made me see. Subtract 82 cents from $50 and you get $49.18. Not much to start a new life on, not when you're used to big money. And big money was the only thing that would make a new life worth living. A little capital was all I needed, but where do you borrow capital when you can't show your face? Who'll lend money to a corpse? In the circles where Wells Galloway had moved, friends were not to be trusted. And as for my wife, as for Leslie... Leslie, yes, that was it. The Wells Galloway brain was beginning to click again. It kept on clicking, keeping pace with the click of the train wheels that carried me back to the city where the late Wells Galloway had lived. It was night when I got there. I was halfway up the walk when the front door opened. I hardly had time to slip behind the lilac bush before Leslie stepped out on the porch. He was with her, the man she loved, Norman Vale.
You think I'm callous, don't you, Norman? You think I'm too hard.
No, of course not, darling. You weren't happy with him. Naturally, you can't be too broken up over his death.
Happy? I was miserable with him. You know how he treated me? I wasn't his wife. I was his prisoner. I hated him, Norman. And I'm not broken up. I'm glad he's dead.
A shudder ran down my spine when I heard her, but that must have been because the night was getting cool. For after all, this was just what I was counting on. My plan wouldn't work if she weren't glad I was dead. I waited till Norman Vale's car pulled away. Then I waited 5 minutes longer. And finally, I climbed the front steps, put my key in the lock, and let myself in.
Who is it? Who's out there? Who...
Hello, Leslie. There had been a time when she would have fainted. She didn't faint now, but she turned very white, and I noticed when she poured herself a half tumbler of bourbon that her hand was trembling. Still, she managed, after one long swallow, to say rather evenly, almost casually.
Let's have it, Wells. I'm sure it's a fascinating story.
So I told her. As I talked, I had a queer feeling that she was a stranger. Something had happened to her since I saw her last. Whether it was Norman Vale or whether it was the fact that she thought I was dead, whatever it was, she was a different person, a stronger one, and braver, and harder.
What do you want, Wells?
Accept my condolences, Leslie. It's a tough break.
Not at all. I'm tickled pink.
I'm sure.
Did you think I would be?
No.
Did you have any illusions I'd be heartbroken when they called and told me that you were dead?
None.
You know what I did? A jig. The first time I ever danced in this house.
Well, you should have done that oftener. Things might have been better between us.
I couldn't find anything to dance about. Well, why'd you come back? What are you after?
3 guesses.
Knowing you, I only need one. How much?
$25,000.
What makes you think you'll get it?
I think you could use $25,000 yourself.
Maybe you'd better explain.
Simple enough. I'm worth $50,000 dead. The insurance is payable in one lump sum to you. It should be coming through in another week or so.
And you're suggesting an even split?
Exactly. I take my half and disappear. As far as you and the rest of the world are concerned, I'm dead and I stay dead. You have $25,000. And you're free to marry Norman Vale.
I see.
Well?
Must have occurred to you I'd prefer to keep the whole 50.
If you could.
And why couldn't I? Suppose I turn you in.
Yeah?
And you're electrocuted for killing Red Tuttle. I still collect, but there's no split.
And if I'm not electrocuted? If I get life imprisonment?
What would be that risk?
Too big a risk, Leslie. I didn't plan Red's death. There was nothing premeditated about it. I killed him in anger. The state doesn't give the death penalty for that.
If you can prove it.
I think I could. I'd live a long time in prison, Leslie.
I wouldn't like that.
So?
I'm thinking. You stay here in the house till the insurance company pays off.
It's the safest place as any.
Safer. You'd have to stay hidden.
Of course.
You couldn't step out the door.
Not very often.
Not at all. You'd be practically a prisoner in your own home.
Well, for a week or two, it'd be worth it.
Would it?
Oh.
Yes. I guess it would. All right, well.
I mean,
all right. It's a deal.
She was smiling when she said it. After all, why shouldn't she smile? Things had turned out well enough for her, considering the fact that I wasn't actually dead. This was the next best thing. Naturally, she smiled. Her reasons for smiling were perfectly obvious, weren't they? She went upstairs afterward, and when she came down, she was still smiling.
I thought you must be tired after all you've been through, Wells. I made your bed.
Thanks, Leslie. Guest room?
No, not the guest
Well,
room.
if I'm going to stay hidden, that's the most isolated room in the house.
Not quite the most. You're forgetting the attic.
The attic?
There's an old army cot up there. You'll use that.
Oh, it's hotter than blazes in the attic.
It's only for a week or so. You said yourself it was worth it.
Oh, and I didn't mean
No, but I did. Don't you want to go up now, Will?
That was when I started to catch on. It hadn't occurred to me that she would relish the idea of keeping me as confined as possible. I was abused as I climbed the stairs. Let her have a fun, I thought. It wouldn't be so bad. A few days in the attic, well, that wouldn't kill me. The light up there was dim, and she must have walked very quietly because I didn't know she had followed me up the stairs. I didn't know it until I opened the door to the attic room. And then just behind me, she said,
Go on in, Will. I have the key. I'll lock the door.
Lock it? Well, there's no need to lock it.
I don't agree with you. The cleaning woman comes tomorrow.
Well, she won't come up here.
But you might be tempted to go down.
Why should I?
You'll get lonely, Will. You'll get bored and restless and terribly unhappy. You'll begin to think you'll go crazy if you don't get out. You'll be desperate for the sound of a human voice. Believe me, I know.
Now, look here, let's...
Please go in, Wells.
All right, but there's no reason to take advantage of the spot I'm in.
What do you mean, dear? I'm protecting you. I'm carrying out our bargain, the one you suggested. Now go in and let me lock the door.
I wasn't amused anymore. This wasn't funny. This was a new experience, taking orders from my own wife, and I couldn't say I liked it, but what could I do? One quick telephone call, one shout, even to the neighbors in the next house, and my game was up. I knew that, and she knew I knew it. So the trump card was in her hand, and she was playing it. She was playing it slowly and with pleasure. She was playing it for all it was worth.
Good morning, darling.
Morning. It must be almost noon. I'm starving. Why didn't you come out?
I was busy. Norman dropped over to see me.
You didn't tell him.
Of course not. This is our little secret, dear. Did you sleep well?
I didn't sleep at all.
Worried about something?
Certainly not. It was hot up here, that's all. What have I got to worry about?
Nothing that I know of.
Well, go and get me something to eat. I'm dying of hunger.
Oh, I hope not, Wells. I wouldn't want you to die of hunger.
Then I saw it. I saw it all, the whole thing. The thing I should have seen before. How could I have missed it? She was going to kill me, and why not? What was there to stop her? Wasn't I dead already? Who would ever miss me? Who would know what she had done? She could bury me in the back orchard. She could burn me in the furnace. She'd have the whole 50,000, and who would be the wiser? You can't accuse a woman of killing a corpse. Then on I paced. The room was only 8 feet square, but I walked for miles, and the sweat rolled down my face and down my body, and the walls closed in, and I waited for her to return. What do you want, Leslie?
Well, I thought you'd like to know. I just came from your funeral.
Oh, they buried Red.
Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful service. I'm sorry you went there.
That was the evening of the second day. She left my dinner on the table and didn't come back that night. At least I didn't think she had come back, but when I awoke the next morning, I wasn't sure. Sometime toward dawn, a shadow had moved across my dream. A lock had snapped, a door had opened. Had it been a part of the dream itself, or had Leslie... But why should she have come and gone like that? What could she have wanted? There was nothing of interest to her, nothing. Except the revolver. The gun I'd emptied into Red Tuttle's body. It was in the pocket of my coat, and my coat was hung over the back of a chair. I leaped from the bed and went for my coat, the right-hand pocket. No, it was empty. Must have been the left. The left was empty, too. The gun was gone. Leslie had taken it. And now for the second time in my life, I knew fear. I stumbled toward the door. I began to pound frantically. Leslie! 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 I heard her footsteps. Then she was just outside, hissing at me.
Quiet, you fool.
Let me out of here.
Be quiet. Norman's downstairs. He'll hear you.
I don't care who hears me. Let me out!
Leslie, who is that?
You be quiet.
Who's up there, Leslie?
No, Norman. It's nothing.
Don't lie to me. I heard someone shouting. There's somebody in that room. Who is it, Leslie? Leslie, answer me. Who's in there?
It's my husband. It's Wells.
So now he knew, too. There was silence after she told him, and the sound of footsteps descending the stairs. She was leading him away. She was going to talk it over with him, tell him her plan, ask his help. They were discussing it now, just how they would do it, just how they would dispose of me afterward. I staggered to the window. She put a lock on it after the first time she'd found it open, and even if she hadn't, what good would it do me? Suppose I could climb down somehow. Where was I to go? The face of a dead man attracts attention on a public street. An hour passed before I heard footsteps again. And now I thought, now they would do it. The key turned in the lock. But the door didn't open. They were getting ready, checking the gun. It was loaded now. They would empty it into me as I had emptied it into Red Tuttle. Now they were turning the knob. They were coming in. But it was only Leslie, and she had no gun, and Norman wasn't with her.
It's all right now, Wells.
What?
Everything is all right. He won't tell.
How do you know?
He wanted to. He wanted to go to the police. I persuaded him not to, so don't worry. Everything's quite all right.
Was it? Then why did she say it like that, and why was she trembling? Because she was afraid of what she and Norman Vale were planning to do. Afraid because the next time she came, he would be with her, and they'd kill me. And I was alone again now. Oh, what were they waiting for? Let them come and get it over with. I was tired of this room. It was getting smaller every minute, smaller and hotter. The heat was unbearable. I could scarcely breathe. Why, it was hotter than it had been 10 minutes ago. It was like a furnace. Just like a furnace. I didn't know what it was at first, that sound. I didn't know until I heard it again. And then I knew. There was no need even to look at the steam radiator in the corner. They had built a fire, Leslie and Norman Vale, in the middle of the summer. They had built a fire, and they had built it for me. Now the sweat really poured. Now the breath came hard. No, not alive. I thought they wouldn't put me in alive. Of course they would. That's the safest way. Gunshots could be heard, but you can't hear a man being stuffed into a furnace. Of course they would. No, they wouldn't, because I wouldn't let them. Maybe I had to die, but not that way. No, not that way. There was still a window. There were still people on the street. Help! Help me! They're going to burn me alive! Help! 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 Something happened. I blacked out. And when I came to, I was lying on the army cot. The policeman towered above. He waited until my eyes could focus, and when he said it very quietly.
You're under arrest, Mr. Galloway, for the murder of your partner, Mr. Tuttle.
You fool! You stupid fool!
She was standing in the doorway, and there was another policeman with her. His arm was linked to hers. I could almost smile at that, but Norman Vale, where was Norman Vale? He'd wanted to kill me, too. He was as guilty as she. The policeman must have seen the question in my eyes.
Your wife is under arrest, too, Mr. Galway, for the murder of Norman Vale.
The murder of... Leslie, you killed him?
Of course I killed him. Didn't I tell you he wanted to turn you in? You think I'd let him rob me of all that money? Oh, you fool, you. If you'd only waited 10 minutes, there wouldn't have been a trace of him left.
Thank you, Joseph Cotton, for a splendid performance.
Well, hello. I guess that winds up Suspense for this season.
It sure does, Hap, but we'll be back in the fall on September 1st, in fact. Same time, same stations. Gosh, does that make me happy.
Oh, it does?
Yes, because then I'll have more opportunities to tell people about those dandy, dependable Autolite Stay Full batteries that need water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
Well, folks, I think he likes you.
Yeah, just the way folks like Autolite Stay Full batteries. So, friends, this is Harlow Wilcox.
And his pal Hap?
Saying so long for now and best wishes for a happy, trouble-free summer from Autolite, makers of more than 400 products for cars, trucks, airplanes, and boats.
Keep happy, folks.
And keep your car happy. Have it checked regularly at your Autolite dealers or by the dealer who services your make of car. There's one near you, no matter where you're vacationing. And be sure to ask for Autolite Original Factory Parts, because they're engineered perfectly to fit together perfectly and work together perfectly, because they're a perfect team. So long for now, and remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And for this 4th of July weekend, remember this slogan.
Take care. Don't take chances.
And now here again is Mr. Joseph Cotton.
I've always enjoyed appearing on Suspense, and particularly so in tonight's unusual play. As you know, this is the last Suspense broadcast for this season, but I'm looking forward, and I'm sure you are, to its return to the air on September 1st, when radio's outstanding theater of thrills will again bring you Hollywood's most famous stars in these gripping studies in
Suspense.
Joseph Cotton appeared by arrangement with David O. Selznick, producer of Portrait of Jenny. Tonight's Suspense play was written by Ken Pettis and Lou Schofield, with music composed by Lucien Moraweck and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. In the coming weeks at this same time, be sure to hear Escape, a series of great stories of high adventure by the world's outstanding authors. Suspense, brought to you by Autolite on Thursday nights at this hour, is taking its customary summer holiday and returns to the air on Thursday, September 1st.
You can buy Autolite Stay Full batteries, Autolite resistor spark plugs, Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is CBS, where 99 million people gather every week. The Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lights out, everybody, for the devil and Mr. O.
Good evening. This is Van Christo. Welcome to the Van Christo Radio Theater. Tonight and in the coming weeks, we are proud to present the resurrected radio plays of Mr. O, Arch Oboler. Arch Oboler is regarded by many drama critics as one of the greatest radio playwrights of all times. He achieved national acclaim as the writer and producer of the highly popular Lights Out series, The true radio buff will remember many of the plays in the Devil and Mr. O collection from Ovala's former network series. These tales of the supernatural and supernormal represent radio drama at its finest. This is the theater of your mind where you are about to enter the zero dimension. There are no boundaries or time limits here, only the depths of your own imagination. And now, to tell you about tonight's program, here is Mr. O.
This is Mr. O. Arch Obler. I bring you a play titled Alleycat with apologies to all cats, large and small, particularly very large ones. Which brings me to a question. Mister, have you ever quarreled with your wife? Or, lady, have you ever had harsh words with your husband? Of course not. Perish the thought, I withdraw the question. But Pop and Mama, lovers, if you've ever quarreled with each other, I'll guarantee you'll never want to do it again after you listen to Alleycat. But that happens after a word from your announcer.
Are you aware?
And now, if you haven't already done so, turn off your lights now and listen to Alleycat.
Hey, Chris, cut it out, will you? Linda, for the love of... Cut it out, will you? The old man will be panning here in a minute.
Yeah, so what? Give me my drink, Queenie. Oh, baby, do I feel swell.
Hey, look what time it is. Come on, Queenie. We better blow out of here.
Yeah. No, don't go. I don't want to be alone.
What do you mean alone? Your husband's here, ain't he?
That guy. What does he know about having fun? Work. Makes me sick where I've never been sick before. That's pretty good, huh, Kenny? Come on, stick around. Let's have some more fun. St. Louis woman with all her diamond rings.
For heaven's sake, Linda.
Well, speak of the devil. Hiya, Johnny boy. Come on in. The water's fine. Only it ain't water.
Linda, for heaven's sake, I'm trying to work.
Go away. You're spoiling my party. Throw him out of here, Kenny. He's only my husband.
Linda, take it easy.
Get out of here. You, whatever your name is.
Okay.
And take that woman with you. Go on, clear out.
No, wait. Don't listen to him. It's my house. What, you kick them out.
Look,
my friends.
I begged with you, pleaded with you to keep these people out of this house while I'm trying to get some work done. Haven't you any consideration at all?
You kick them out. My friends.
Yes, and I'll do it again every time I find them here. They're no good, not a one of them. You've promised me time and time again to give them up.
I'll call them back. I'll call them all back. You can't tell me what to do. Not me. They're my friends, mine. I'd give a dozen of you for one of them.
All right, Linda. If that's the way you feel. You haven't got a grain of loyalty in you. All I ask is a little peace and quiet in my own home, and I can't even have that.
Go away.
Night after night, you and these people yowling and screaming like a pack of alleycats, and you the worst of all. I'm through, Linda. I'm through with you for good.
Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not.
Keep away from me. Keep away. Oh, Linda.
You see? You're not through with me at all. You'll never be through with me. Never.
Oh, Linda.
Now, let me go. Let me go. I don't want you, you fool. You're not through with me. I'm through with you.
No.
I'm tired of you. Do you hear me? Tired of you. I'm going to get so far away from that smug face of yours I couldn't see it with a telescope.
Linda, my wife.
Ha! Your wife. Why do you think I married you?
Oh, you loved me.
I married you because I was sick of working in a two-bit barber shop, because I was sick of living in a hall bedroom wearing bargain sale dresses. I wanted dough, plenty of it, all I could get. And you were the best chance to get it that came my way.
No, Linda, you did love me. You must have loved me.
Oh, well, I loved you about as much as that canary up there loves its cage. I told myself I'd stay with you a year, divorce you, stick you for plenty of alimony, and then get out.
We've been married 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Because you fooled me. That's why.
I fooled you?
Yeah. You started to make a lot of money. More money than I ever thought you could make. So you're giving me the air,
No, Linda, I love you. I didn't mean what I said. I didn't.
Well, I did.
Linda, don't leave me. You're no good. I know you're no good, but heaven help me, I love you. I'll never love anybody else.
Get out of my way.
No, I won't let you go. You've got to stay.
Get your hands off.
You're no good. You cost me my self-respect, but you stay with me. You stay with me or I'll cut you off without a cent. You'll never get a dime from me, not a dime. Stop it. Stop laughing.
Oh, you sap. You fat-headed sap.
Stop that.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna cut me off without a cent, are you? Why, you fool. I've got everything that belongs to you now. You hear me? Everything.
What are you talking about?
This house. It's in my name, isn't it? The car. It's in my name, isn't it?
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, wouldn't I? Well, listen to this, my darling husband. I cleaned out the bank account yesterday.
Oh, no.
Every cent of it. I won't be in the street. Oh, no. You will. Now, this is my house. Get your things and get out of here.
I'll kill you.
No,
I'll kill you.
No, let me go. Let me go. Oh. You touch me again and I'll tear your eyes out.
You cat.
Get out of my way.
That's what you are, a cat. A big, white, heartless cat.
Get out of my way.
You think like one, you screech like one, you claw like one. You even look like one. Your eyes, they're cat's eyes. That's what they are, cat's eyes. A cat, that's what you are. A white cat. I didn't marry a woman, I married a cat.
Keep it up.
Laugh
Keep
at
it
me.
up. You're doing
Go ahead, laugh at me. You're a cat, a sneaking, yowling cat. A cat. You're a cat. A cat. Cat. You're a cat.
Now, that's enough of that. I don't like it.
A cat.
Stop saying it.
A cat, you hear me? A cat.
John. Stop staring at me like that. Stop staring at me. John. What's happening to me? John, my head. I can hardly see. John, help me. John.
Linda.
What are you staring at? What are you staring at? What are you...
Linda! Linda!
Now, John, you've got to control yourself. Everything will be all right.
Oh, Doctor, what have I done? What have I done?
John, please pull yourself together.
I can't.
You are not entirely to blame for what happened.
Oh, I did it. I'm to blame. What'll I do? What'll I do?
Stop talking like that. It's preposterous to say you were to blame. She was in a hysterical condition.
I know.
The suggestion that she was a cat caught her in an unguarded moment and resulted in temporary neurosis.
But she... Doctor, can I go in and see her?
But I tell you, she's sleeping.
I know, but... Doctor, I've got to see her. I've got to look at her. I've got to make sure she's all right. Don't you see? I've got to make sure.
Now, John, please. You've had a hard time of it. You'd better get to bed and get some rest.
No. Doctor, listen to me. I've got to see her again. I've got to make sure she's all right. I can't rest until I know.
But I tell you... Oh, very well. Just for a moment.
Yes.
Be very quiet.
Yes.
There. You see? She's resting very nicely.
Doctor, look. What? Her hands. Look at her hands. And her teeth. Linda.
No, John. You'll waken her. John.
Linda. Oh, Doctor, listen to her.
Steady, John.
I can't stand it, I tell you. Doctor, what is it? What's happening to her?
I don't know, John. I don't know.
Oh, listen to her. What'll I do?
Fingers into claws. Teeth into fangs. It can't be happening.
Well, it is.
And yet I've seen it with my own eyes.
You've got to do something, Doctor. You've got to. You're my friend. You've got to help me.
But what? In the name of all that's rational, what?
Well, think. There must be something you can do. A drug, something.
Oh, John, I don't know what to say. I can't think. I'll call in someone else. Yes, that's it. I'll inform the authorities. They'll take care of everything.
No. Wait, Doctor, wait.
What's the matter? What is it?
You're going to inform the authorities?
Yes, of course. Don't you see, my boy, it's the simplest way out of this.
Way out?
Of course. For you and for me.
What do you mean?
This horrible thing that's happened to Linda, it goes beyond just you and me. It goes beyond the normal into the supernatural. The world should know about it.
No, stop. You mean you're going to let everyone know what's happened to Linda?
Of course I am.
But you can't do that. She's my wife. Do you hear me? My wife.
No. Now, don't get excited again, John. Listen sensibly. We owe it to science.
Science? Who cares about science? She's Linda. She's my wife. And I cursed her to God, and I turned her into a yowling beast. It's my shame, mine. And you're not going to tell anyone else about it. No one.
It's my duty, John. I must inform the authorities.
No. Keep away from that phone. Keep away, I say.
I'm sorry, John. I must call.
John. My friend. No. Try to sleep, darling. Try to sleep. Yes, I know, darling, but it's almost morning. You must rest. Sleep, Linda, sleep, my darling. All right, darling, I won't cry. I've got to be strong. I've got to help you. And I did help you. He was going to tell them about you. Everyone. They'd have taken you away from me, locked you up, pointed at you, laughed at you. But I stopped him, Linda. I stopped him for you. He called me friend. But you're my wife, beloved. And I love you. I pleased you, haven't I, my darling? I never could please you before, could I? But now I've pleased you. I'll tell them he never came here, and no one will ever know, darling. No one but you and I. What is it, darling? What's the matter? Why are you getting up? What is it? Why go to the window? What do you want out there? Oh, if I could only understand you. If I could only know what you're trying to say to me. Oh, no. Linda, stop. On my knees, I'm begging you to stop. Linda, beloved, stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, we leave The Devil in Mr. O's story, Alleycat, to take a normal breath and a word from your announcer. And now back to The Devil in Mr. O's story of Alleycat.
Yes, I'm coming.
Good morning, Mr. Taylor.
Oh, it's you.
I found this note saying you wanted to talk to me. And, Jay, I hope you're not going to quit taking milk from me.
No, I'm not going to stop taking milk. That's what I wanted to see you about. I want milk. More milk. Cream. Everything.
Well, sure. How much do you want?
4 bottles of milk. No, 6.
6?
Yes, and cream. 6 bottles of cream.
Is something wrong, Mr. Taylor?
Wrong? Why do you think something's wrong?
Well, I only meant...
You meant what? Speak up, you meant what?
Well, don't get sore, Mr. Taylor. I just meant... Well, you don't look so well, and... well, you know how it is. Sometimes a fella has a couple too many and starts ordering all the milk in the world.
You fool, I'm not drunk. Do you want some of that milk, or do I have to get another milkman?
No, I'll get it for you.
Well, hurry.
6 quarts, 6 cream. Only him and his old lady. The guy's nuts.
Well, good morning, Mr. Taylor. Early again this morning, ain't you?
Morning.
My first customer every morning for the last 3 days. I was saying to my wife this morning...
Yes, Mr. Heinrich. Some other time. I'm in a hurry. My order, please.
Sure, but you didn't give me an order yet. How about a nice broiling steak?
No, nothing like that.
But broiling
No, stop it. I'm in a hurry, I tell you.
All right. You don't have to get so excited, Mr. Taylor. Now, if you'll tell me what you want, I'll get it for you.
Oh, well, I don't know exactly. A couple of pounds of fresh liver. Yes, that's it, fresh liver.
What? Again?
You heard me?
Oh, sure, I heard you, but look here, for 3 days now, ever since your wife went away, you eat nothing but liver.
Are you going to fill my order?
Sure, I'll fill your order. Nice and fresh, huh? So, 2 pounds, yeah. There we are. Say, you'd think you was raising cats or something.
What? Why do you say that?
Well, you buy liver every day. Oh, this morning I caught a couple of mice in a trap. Maybe you'd like to take them along for the cat tour.
Don't say that! Don't say that!
Mr. Taylor, the liver... Forgot. Man's crazy. What did I say that was wrong? Cats like to eat mice.
Oh, my Linda. My dearest Linda. Close to me. So close to me. Oh, my darling, my darling. It's better this way. You can't leave me now. I'll have you with me always. I'll keep you here. Yes? Just you and I. I won't answer it. They'll go away. All right, I'll answer it. Linda, it can't be anyone that knows. He's dead. I buried him, Linda. You know that. No. Stay here, my beloved. They mustn't see you. Be very quiet. Very quiet. Yes, I'm coming. Well, what is it?
Are you the owner of this building?
Yes, what do you want?
Kerrigan's the name. I'm your neighbor. I've got that place across the alley from you.
Oh, my neighbor?
Yeah, Kerrigan's the name. I'm with the department.
Department?
Yeah, I'm desk sergeant at the 3rd District Station.
A policeman?
Yeah, I'm off duty today, so I thought I'd drop over and speak to you. Do you mind if I step in for a moment?
Step in? Oh, no, not at all.
Thank you. Well, you got a nice place here.
Yes. Nice, very nice.
You know the same contractors made this place as made mine. You didn't know that, I bet.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, an Irishman by the name of Gil Hooley. If he was alive now, some of the people along here that bought places from him would murder him. What with the trouble they're having.
Oh, trouble?
Yeah, cheap material, plaster cracking, floor sagging, stuff like that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Now, you take my place. I've had to have a new roof put on and new gutters put in, and I never know what'll go wrong next. Anything wrong around here?
Oh, no, nothing at all.
Yeah, then you're lucky. Say.
What's the matter?
I just remember why I come over. If you don't mind, I'll tell you.
Yes?
Now, it ain't me that's complaining, Mr. Taylor. I'm the kind of a man that can sleep in a boiler factory. But it's my Ella. There's a light sleeper for you. I always say that if a star in heaven twinkles too much, the noise wakes up my Ella.
What's the trouble?
Oh, no trouble at all, Mr. Taylor. Like I'm telling you, I'm the last man in the world to go around having trouble with me neighbors. But you know how the women are. Always finding something to make a fuss about. Oh, say, I'm not disturbing her, am I?
Disturbing?
Yeah, you know, your missus. She's not sleeping in the bedroom there, is she?
No, of course not. There's no one in there.
I thought maybe seeing the doors closed.
No, I tell you there's no one in there. My wife is out of town.
Well, that's fine. I always like to talk things over man to man without the women around. That's why I made my Ella stay home. Let me handle this, I says. There's anything wrong, I says. Let me do the talking and we'll stay good.
What is it? What's wrong? What do you want to tell me?
Well, to put it plain, it's the cat.
Cat?
Yeah, the cat. You just got it, didn't you?
You had a cat?
Yeah, it started a few nights ago. No, it ain't disturbed me none, like I says, but my Ella. Well, you see, our bedroom window faces right on the alley, and by golly, she hears every meow that animal makes.
You're wrong.
Huh?
I have no cat.
But my Ella heard... I heard it, too, for that matter.
I have no cat.
But I'm telling you, it came from this house.
I tell you, I have no cat. Isn't that sufficient?
Well, now, seeing as you put it so plain, I'll be speaking up plain myself. I'm telling you, I heard a cat yowling last night, and the night before, and the night before that. And as sure as my name's Thomas Kerrigan, it came right from this house. Now, what do you say to that?
Get out.
Now, wait a second, my bucko. Well, get on your high horse.
Get out. Get out of my house.
Well, you sure are making a lot of noise about nothing, young fella. But it's your house, and if that's the kind of a neighbor you want to be, I guess I could...
What are you standing there for? Get out! Get out!
Now, just a minute. Take it easy. No cat, eh? Well, what was that I just heard?
Nothing. Nothing at all. You've got no right to be coming...
You may not be a liar, but you sure are something close to it. If that ain't a cat in that bedroom there, then I ain't never heard a cat.
Get out! Get out of here!
Oh, no, I won't. Listen to that cat. If that ain't creating a public nuisance, I'd like to know what it is.
It's none of your business. Get out of here. This is my house. Get out of here.
Stop pulling at me, bucko. I may be off duty, but I'm still an officer of the law, and I'm telling you, that cat in there is violating the city ordinance. Now, if you don't make it shut up and disturbing me, Ella, I will.
Stay away from that door. Stay away from that door.
Say, listen to it. That ain't no cat you got in there.
Yes, I lied. It is a cat. It's just a cat. But I'll make it be quiet. But go away, go away.
Now, wait a minute. Take it easy. If it's just a cat, what are you getting so excited about? Just look at her.
No.
Look at her. Your eyes blazing. What's going on here? I think I'll have a look.
No. Stay away.
Oh, no. Get away. Take it away.
I told you to go.
My gun. I'll get my gun. My gun.
Wow.
Linda, did you hear him? His gun.
Wow.
Yes. Close to me. Yes, darling, stay close to me. If he comes back, you'll... No, they won't hurt you. I won't let them. I did this to you, I did. I cursed you to God. No, they won't hurt you. They won't. Wait there. I've got to find it. They won't hurt you, Linda. No, they can't. I've got it. Now they won't hurt you, Linda. I swear it. They won't ever hurt you. No, don't look at my hand. No, why shouldn't you look at it? Yes. There's a gun in my hand. But not to hurt you, darling. It's just to help you. I swear. To help you. Yes, so close to me. I must do it quickly. No, don't try to pull away. No, Linda, stay here. I must hold you. I must. You'll be back in a moment. I mustn't miss. Linda, my darling. I heard my beloved. I heard you. Wait for me, my beloved.
This is Mr. O, our Jobler again. Let me tell you about next week's package of thrills and chills. It's a story about... but more after a word from your own announcer. This is Mr. O again. Have you ever wanted to turn time backwards? I mean really backwards. We do that next time with a play titled Neanderthal. It's a story about a past which I promise you will make you forget, at least for a while, the woes and troubles of today. But that's next time. It is later than you think.
That's our story for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it and will join us again as we travel through the zero dimension in the theater of your own imagination. So until we meet again next week, when I bring you another story in the night, this is Van Christo reminding you that the extent of your own imagination is unlimited. One purpose of these programs is to help you exercise those imaginative powers. I hope we've succeeded. Good night.
Unsolved Mysteries. In the realms of unsolved mysteries, nothing is more baffling than the disappearance of a human being. This is a true unsolved mystery of the disappearance of a prominent man. The case aroused international interest, and as the years pass, the mystery deepens. The scene is a fashionable home in the exclusive quarter of one of America's largest cities. The night, beautiful with the sprinkled stars just beginning to show against a sky of black velvet. And falling away from the house, rows and rows of electric lights stretch out like jeweled fingers to reach the city. Two men and a woman rise from the dinner table and move out into a glassed-in veranda as a servant brings coffee.
Awfully glad, Judge, that you were able to drop over for dinner.
Yes, indeed. Harry has spoken so many times of having you over, but, well, you've been so busy.
Yes. Most people think that a judge's day's work is over when he rises from the bench. But you know, if you take your work seriously and conscientiously, you spend hours going over the day's testimony.
Oh, it's been worth it, though, Judge. You've been mighty successful.
I suppose so. In fact, I might as well say yes. I set out to study law with the intention of rising to the Supreme Court, and
now you're on the superior bench and headed for your goal. And you're still a young man.
Handling the criminal cases you do, Judge, aren't you sometimes afraid that some of these criminals will be revenged on you?
Oh, I've been threatened, but then so is every other judge, I suppose.
But not afraid, eh?
No, I'm not afraid. Although, I must admit that sometimes, when I think of my wife, some of the men I've put away for 10 or 15 years, I wonder what they might try to do when their terms are up. Oh, I say, I hate frightfully to eat and run, but I have quite a bit of work to do tonight. Will you excuse me?
Of course. Don't mention it. It's been grand having you over. I'll call a taxi. My car's being repaired.
Oh, please don't bother. It's quite a short walk. Good for me. I'd really much rather walk.
Well, if you're sure you'd rather.
Yes, really.
Well, once again, we've enjoyed having you. Good night, Judge. Sure you won't change your mind about the taxi?
No. In any case, I can find a cab, but it won't take me more than 10 minutes to walk home. But the judge never got home. He stepped off briskly down the street, and as if the earth opened and swallowed him, he disappeared. Several hours later at the judge's home, a detective inspector and the police searched the house while the deputy district attorney questions the servants.
You say that the judge went out for dinner? Said he'd be back before 9?
Oui, monsieur. That is what he said to me.
He told me, sir, that I needn't stay in if I wanted to go to a movie or anything.
Who do you have dinner with?
Mr. and Mrs. Howard.
You called them?
I called them, monsieur, while Robbins, the butler, monsieur, phoned you.
Yes? What'd they say?
They say as soon as they put their little girl to bed, they will come over here.
Good. Any threatening phone calls?
None that I know of, sir.
You?
Not me, monsieur. I know of nothing.
Oh, more than likely that's Mr. and Mrs. Howard now, sir.
Bring them in.
Yes, sir.
Found anything yet, Inspector?
Not so far, D.A.
You can go, unless you've anything to add.
No, monsieur. I don't know a thing, monsieur.
All right, run along. But stay where I can find you.
Oh, I just know something terrible has happened, monsieur.
Eh? Why?
Oh, just a feeling, monsieur. I cannot help it, monsieur. I know he has been killed.
The district attorney's in the library.
Why, this is awful, Mr.
Stewart.
To think that he should have dinner at our house and then...
Did he show any signs of fear when he was dining with you?
No. Oh, we did discuss the fact that he'd been threatened, But he said he wasn't afraid.
You watched him leave the house?
Yes. We watched him walk down the street until he turned the corner.
You watched him, too?
Yes.
No suggestions to offer?
I'm sorry. Not a thing.
Nor I'm afraid.
Well, thanks very much for coming over. Let the sergeant at the door know where we can find you if we need you. And again, thanks. Good night.
Good night. Come here a minute, D.A.
Right with you.
Servant's gone out of the room.
Yeah. What's in the wind?
Look here. Checkbook stubs, bank notices.
Figure them out?
Yeah. The last few weeks he's withdrawn from deposit better than $22,000.
That could mean a lot of things.
Yes, including blackmail.
What's in the strong box?
Not a thing. Empty.
Was it locked?
No, it was open all right.
No incriminating letters?
Not a one.
I just searched the house. All these clothes are there as far as I can tell. At least there's no signs of packing up to leave. All the coat hangers, pants hangers, too, filled.
Shaving kit, hairbrushes in the bathroom?
Yes, sir. Suitcases and trunks all empty and in the closet.
You walked this beat, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You didn't see the judge come home?
No, sir.
So he disappeared between the corner of Laurel and the house here.
That's right.
No suspicious characters around?
No, sir. Fact is, I haven't seen half a dozen people in the neighborhood all evening.
Well, we'd better get down to headquarters and start some real searching.
But all the searching availed nothing. The police dragnet was thrown out. The underworld of America was combed. Stool pigeons were questioned. The search spread to Mexico, to Cuba, Europe.
Find Judge Draper. Find Judge Draper.
London calling. Call from America. Find Judge Draper.
Find Judge Draper. Find Judge Draper. Je suis Monsieur le Judge Draper.
Yeah, this is Berlin. We are searching for Judge Draper.
Moscow answering. Searching for Judge Draper.
All the police of the world, in the daily press, private investigators, private citizens joined in the search for the missing jurist. Not a murmur. Not a word that would lead to his discovery. Within a period of 24 hours, the judge was reported seen in Havana, Italy, Arizona, New Mexico, Los Angeles, and Canada. But inquiries met with blank walls in every direction. Thousands of people were questioned, and month after month the search went on. One night, 5 months later, the district attorney and the inspector stand in the missing judge's study talking to his wife.
You say that you came home, opened this strong box, and found these?
Yes, Mr. Stewart.
You looked in the box before?
No, because you had already searched it and found nothing.
We did search it. It was empty. Couldn't possibly have been any papers in there without us finding them.
6,000, 10, 20, 75,000 in securities.
And a lot of papers in the judge's handwriting. This convinces me that the judge must be alive.
That doesn't convince me. Not the way we've searched. How could anyone escape our search?
5 years of searching. $300,000 worth of searching. And still no signs of the missing jurist. Wireless, radio, telephone, cable, photographs, rewards. A network of communication burning hot with inquiry without response. And today, 6 years later, the disappearance of Superior Court Judge Draper is still an unsolved mystery. Out of deference to people who may still be living, character names in some of these unsolved mysteries have been changed. Inasmuch as any solution must of necessity be supposition, liberties of time, place, and characters have been taken. In just a moment, you will hear a solution to the Judge Draper mystery.
We'll be back with the conclusion of this unsolved mystery right after this short break. And now let's get back to our unsolved mystery on When Radio Was.
Ladies and gentlemen, the solution for which you have been waiting. The scene is the apartment of an underworld character. He sits behind his desk giving orders to his two henchmen, one dressed in evening clothes, the other in the livery of a chauffeur.
Now, listen, you two. I tried to get the judge to listen to reason, but he nixed me before I even got started.
So, he's going to send Joe up, eh?
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
He ain't going to send any more up. He's through.
You mean you're going to snatch him?
I'm going to do more than snatch him. I'm going to take him for $100,000. Now, listen.
Okay, shoot.
Draper has about $70,000 in securities in his library. He's got about $25,000 in cash in his safe.
How do you know?
Never mind how I know. I do, and that's enough for you. Tonight, he's dining out with friends. The servants have been given the night off, if they want it. But we don't care. They'll all be in the back of the house eating. You, Red, won't have any difficulty with the strong box or the desk.
Okay.
You pull that about 7:15. And then you jump into the car and cruise around till the judge starts home. I've got Ike planted with a taxi. But the judge has been walking lately, and it's only a 10-minute walk home, so more than likely he'll walk.
And Bill will drive me past, and I'll sign him over the car.
That's the dope.
If he shows ugly.
I don't care what he shows. I want that buzzard in here before night.
It's all right. But don't forget, they'll search. The whole city'll be torn apart.
Let 'em search. Where I'm going to put him, there ain't nobody'll ever find him.
To this day, the only word out of the vast unknown that has brought any hint of what might have happened are two letters. The first, signed SS, is quoted. Joe Draper is dead. No use looking for him. He was buried August 22nd, after being in the water 2 weeks. Sorry, I can't tell where, but it's true. And signed SS. Another letter to much the same effect was postmarked Buffalo. But from the moment of his disappearance, 6 years ago till today, no one in whose identification reliance can be placed has set eyes on the missing jurist. Contrary to the belief that the returned securities were an indication that the judge was still alive, the returned papers may indicate the possibility that gangsters could not dispose of them and returned them to the strong box, hoping the police would be led to assume that Judge Draper was still alive.
The Whistler.
And now the Whistler's strange story. Frontman.
The dangers involved in his weekly visits to the small cottage at West Beach were great. Oh, yes, Steve Conant was well aware of that. He was well aware of the fact, too, that his reputation was at stake. The spotless reputation of Steve Conant, prominent attorney at law. And he wondered if the girl who stood with him now on the darkened porch of the cottage, the girl he held in his arms, was worth the risk.
You really have to go back to town, darling.
You know I do.
All right. Take care of yourself, Counselor. For me.
Sure I will. So long, Red.
Steve Conant hurried down the path to his car. He looked back once and waved to the girl on the porch, and then drove off into the night. An hour later, the lights of the city came into view as the highway crossed the Black Mountain Bridge. And then, as he reached the city limits, glancing into the rearview mirror, he saw the police car approaching. Then it was alongside, and he pulled over to the curb.
What's the trouble, officer?
I thought I recognized you, Mr. Conant.
Oh? Well,
There's
why?
been a request to find you and ask you to come down to headquarters, Mr. Conan.
What's up?
It's your brother. He's been picked up and held without bail.
Johnny? What's the charge?
Suspicion of murder? He wants to see you.
What for? He knows I won't do anything.
He says you're his alibi.
This way, Mr. Conan. He's in Lieutenant Haley's office.
All right, Sergeant.
Sorry you have to come down to headquarters at a time like
That's
this.
all right, I understand. It's quite all right.
Sure, Lieutenant. Go ahead, rave on. So you think I killed Tom?
Lieutenant.
Yes. What? Oh, Mr. Conan. Come on in.
Hi, Stevie.
How are you, Lieutenant?
I'm sorry about this, Mr. Conan, but Johnny here tells us...
Yeah, I told him you were with me, Steve, all afternoon at my place.
Buzz Tolman's been killed, Mr. Conan. We think Johnny did it. Now, I know he's your younger brother, but this is murder. Were you with him all afternoon?
I haven't seen Johnny in a month.
Well, Johnny. Wait a minute. What's so funny?
You are, Lieutenant, you are. I'm surprised you fell for my little gag. I just told you he was my alibi so you'd bring him in here and fast.
Boy.
Cute, huh?
I was afraid of that.
Now, how about it, Stevie? Come on, get me out of this pillbox, huh?
Sorry, Johnny. Get yourself another lawyer.
What did you say?
You heard me. I told you a long time ago we were washed up. I don't want to have anything to do with you and your dirty rackets.
Why, you cheap shyster. You turned down your own brother?
Half-brother, Johnny.
You'd like to see me go up for murder, wouldn't you? You wouldn't lift a finger to help
Take
me.
it easy, tough guy.
Okay, Steve. Go on your way. I can get off this hook without you, but I'm not going to forget this, understand? Someday I'll do as much for you.
Without a word, you turn and walk from the room. Johnny's voice, his threat, still ringing in your ears. Lieutenant Haley walks along the corridor at your side, has an apologetic word, a friendly pat on the back to give you as you step out into the street. He understands, doesn't he, Steve? They all understand. As Stephen Conant, one of the most respected lawyers in the city, you can't afford to have your name linked with anything unsavory. You can't afford to have any connection with the racketeer, your half-brother, Johnny Conant. The following day, you scan the newspapers nervously. It's all there, isn't it? The killing of a rival racketeer, Buzz Tolman. Your half-brother Johnny's arrest, and he's still being held without bail. But that night at your apartment, you have a visitor.
Oh, Lieutenant Haley. Come on in.
No, thanks, Mr. Conant. I just stopped by for a moment. I wanted to tell you about Johnny.
Oh?
He's been released. I thought you'd like to know.
Really? Oh, yes, thanks.
He came up with a very good alibi. A nice, tight alibi. We couldn't hold him.
Oh, all right, Lieutenant.
He's still pretty sore, Mr. Conant. Now, if you want, I'll give you a couple of my boys who'll see...
No, that won't be necessary. Thanks just the same.
Okay. Whatever you say.
A quarter of an hour after the lieutenant is gone, you hurry downstairs to your car, drive across town to a small apartment building. You ring the bell under the nameplate Edna Watkins, then climb a flight of stairs to apartment 202.
Oh. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Edna. The boyfriend around?
Sure. Come on in. Here's the rest of the family, honey.
Hiya, Counselor.
Johnny boy?
Anyone follow you?
No. Lieutenant offered to give me a couple of his boys. Protection. I turned it down.
That was a great act we put on at headquarters, wasn't it, Steve? You should have seen it, baby. A cheap shyster, I called him. They'll never connect us now, Stevie.
How could they? A big shot lawyer like Steve here, mixed up with a dirty racketeer.
Hey, now watch that, baby.
What a front for little Johnny's bigger and better business.
And watch us grow, baby. Bookmaking, numbers, slot machines, punchboard, protection. With Tolman out of the way, little Johnny takes over. The whole lucrative business will be coming over our desks, Steve.
Yeah, sure, John.
Only we gotta be careful. And speaking of being careful, you sort of got your signals crossed up yesterday afternoon, didn't you, Steve?
What do you mean?
You were supposed to be here in town. What were you doing up at West Beach?
How'd you know I was at West Beach? Checking up on me?
No. One of the boys saw you heading that way.
I had business there.
Well, okay. Only the next time let me know, huh? Well, I gotta run out for a while. Edna, how about a beer for Steve?
Sure.
Now, where are you going, Johnny?
I gotta see Lou about the payoff of that Tolman alibi. I won't be long. Keep our boy entertained, will you, Edna?
Okay, John.
Johnny.
Yeah?
I've been wanting to talk to you about Lou. Can you trust him?
Sure. Up to a point. But look, I don't really trust anybody in this outfit. That is, outside of you and Edna. The three of us are the only ones any of us can count on. Well, I'll see you later.
You hear that, Edna? He trusts us.
Here's your beer, Counselor.
Thanks, Red.
As Steve Conan, prominent attorney at law, you've been a perfect front for the activities of your half-brother Johnny Conan, the racketeer, haven't you, Steve? Yes, and so far, no one has suspected that this partnership exists. It's a dangerous partnership, isn't it, Steve? You shudder at the thought of what Johnny will do to you if he ever finds out about you and his sweetheart, Edna. You know how ruthless Johnny can be when something stands in his way. He'll get you, just as he got rid of Buzz Tolman, the rival gang boss, with a bullet. In the past several weeks, you've tried to think of a way out, a way to dissolve this dangerous partnership. But it's no use. You're trapped. And then one night, a week after the Tolman killing, you're in your apartment.
Hello?
Hello, Counselor.
Oh, hello, Edna.
I want to see you. Can you come over right away?
Too risky, Edna.
Never bothered you before, Don.
Yeah, well, look, we can't take any chances.
Johnny won't be around. Right now, he's hiding out in a little apartment over on 76th Street.
Hiding out? What's happened?
Suppose you come over, Counselor. I'll tell you all about it. Oh, and you better use the back stairs. Just in case. Here, Steve. I'll show you why Johnny's hiding out. Take a look out that window.
Oh. Who's he?
That little gent in the doorway across the street is one of Tolman's boys, waiting for me to lead him to Johnny's hideout.
He'll have a tough time getting to Johnny with Sid and the rest of the boys around.
Johnny's out there alone, Steve.
Alone?
Getting into the big time has made him a little jittery. He won't even trust his own boys anymore. We're the only ones who know where he is.
Oh, well, look, Johnny can't go on hiding forever.
No, he won't. He figures to let the Tolman boys simmer a while, cool off. Then he'll make them an offer. He's pretty sure they'll take it.
Well, I'm sure they will, too. Some of those boys have short memories when the dough looks good.
Steve.
Yeah?
I've been thinking. Suppose I made it easy for that trigger man out there to find Johnny.
What are you driving?
I let him follow me out to Johnny's hideout.
No, Edna, no.
You want Johnny out of the way, don't you?
Not like that.
Why should you split halves with anybody when you can run the whole setup yourself? But we'll never have to be afraid of Johnny finding out about it.
You sure head, Edna, so Johnny gets it. The next thing you know, cops are swarming all over that apartment on 76th. They'll find the book.
The book?
Yeah, the deals, the payoffs in Johnny's little black book. Names, addresses, everything's there. I'm dead.
I'll get it for you.
Edna, That book is the only thing that links me with Johnny. The only proof.
I said I'd get it. Well.
I'll have to think about it.
Okay. In the meantime, how about fixing interest?
Edna has hit on the solution, hasn't she, Steve? The way out you've been looking for. It will cost Johnny his life, but you'll have the black book. And that's more important than anything else. Yes, even more important than Edna. Without knowing it, she's solved another one of your problems, hasn't she, Steve? Something else that's been on your mind for a long time. That evening, before you leave her apartment, you've made up your mind.
Edna.
Yes, darling.
When can you get the book?
Tomorrow. Do I put the finger on Johnny?
Yeah. You put the finger on Johnny.
You congratulate yourself as you leave the apartment, don't you, Steve? It's going to be so simple. A killer's bullet will dissolve your partnership with Johnny. And with his book in your hand, the only link connecting you with the racket, you think you'll find a way to be free of Edna, too. You know she'll go to the police and tell them of your connection with Johnny, but without the book, she'll have no proof. They'll laugh at her. The following day, you wait anxiously for some word from Edna, but nothing comes. And then early that evening...
Hello?
Steve, I want to see you right away.
Something wrong, Johnny?
Suppose you get over here and we'll talk about it, huh?
Well, sure, but Johnny!
Come on in. In here.
Hello, Edna.
Hello?
Well, what's the trouble, Johnny?
Sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, sure. Well?
It's the guy Sid got for the Tolman alibi. He's falling apart at the seams.
Oh, I see.
Something went wrong. The cops have him downtown now, and they're putting the screws on him. I don't know how long he's going to hold out.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. So we got to think of something. You are the brains. You think of something. Come on.
Well, give me time.
We ain't got time. If that guy squawks, the cops will be all over town looking for me. I gotta know now. Do we stay here or do I run? Well?
Johnny, the phone you want me to...
No, baby, I'll get it. It's probably Sid. Keep thinking, Steve. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that was close. I thought he was onto us.
He isn't. Stop worrying. What are you going to tell him to do?
Well, it depends. What about the little man with the itchy finger?
Didn't you see him when you came in? He followed me here. He's right across the street. Wait.
Okay, we won't take any chances. I'll tell Johnny to run for it. The minute he steps out, he...
Okay.
The book, and you got it?
Uh-huh. It's in a safe place, John. What are we going to do, Steve?
Well, Steve, you ready with some advice?
Yeah. You run.
I run.
What's so funny?
Relax, Steve, relax. That was Sid. He just got word the cops let my alibi go. The guy who alibied me didn't spill a word.
That's good, Johnny. Good.
Yeah, so we can all relax, huh? Little Johnny stays right here. Edna, get a bottle of beer for the counselor.
No, skip it, Edna. I'll be running alone.
Well, you just got here.
I got a big day tomorrow.
I think I'll run along, too, Johnny. It's late. I'm sort of so tired.
Huh? Okay, everybody's scrambling, huh? Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, huh, baby?
Sure, Johnny.
And look, honey, be careful. Don't let anybody follow you.
I'll be careful, Johnny. Steve, see him across the street?
Yeah, that our boy with the itchy finger?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go on. I'll get him.
Yeah. Notice he's got a good view of both the front and side entrance to the apartment house.
Yeah. He's not going to do us any good, as long as Johnny stays inside. Edna?
Yes, darling.
About the book.
It's in a safe place, Steve. Don't worry.
I want it.
You'll get it.
Tonight?
No.
Well, what's the idea?
The idea is, little Edna's been thinking it over. Maybe I'll hold on to it for a while.
What for?
A girl can't be too careful these days, darling. Suppose, once you got your hands on that book, you walked out on me.
Oh, that's crazy.
Is it? Kiss me, Steve.
What?
I said, kiss me. Nice. Very nice. But, well...
But what?
Well, it just doesn't seem the same. Not like it used to be, darling. A woman has a way of noticing those things. And lately, Steve, I've been noticing.
Now, look, Edna, you're all wrong.
Maybe I am. Maybe you can convince me. Let's wait and see, huh?
She suspects, doesn't she, Stevie, that your only concern now is getting the little black book. Once it's in your hands, you'll be free of any connection with Johnny and the racket, and you hope of Edna, too. You realize you're going to have to proceed cautiously. Do your best to convince her she's wrong. And later that evening at her apartment.
But it'll work, Steve. I know it will.
Sure, but why me, Edna?
You'll have to be the one to call Johnny, Steve. He'll run like a frightened rabbit.
Okay, but I have to drive by the apartment and make sure that trigger man is still there.
He'll be there, darling. You don't have to rush away right now, do you? Take another drink. Hmm?
Yeah, sure, Ed. Anything you say. Edna, slow down.
Well?
Yeah, he's still there. Waiting for Johnny.
Now all you have to do is phone.
Where am I going to find one at this time of the morning?
There's an all-night drugstore around the corner.
Yeah, okay.
I'll drive on out to West Beach tonight, Steve. You'll come down in the morning?
Yeah, sure. Will that give you enough time to think it over? That I'm on a level with you?
Still worrying about the little black book, huh? I'll think it over. Seriously. Well, there's your drugstore. Sure you can get back home okay?
Yeah, I'll grab a cab up in the avenue. Night, Fred.
Night, darling. Oh, that's better. So much better.
Sure, I know it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but I had to phone you. I couldn't wait.
Oh, okay. What's up?
That alibi of yours, Johnny. Let him go, didn't they?
Yeah, sure. And he didn't spill a word.
It's a smokescreen, I tell you. I just found out he did talk loud and long.
What?
Yeah. And right now the cops are ripping this town wide open looking for you. You better get out and fast.
Okay.
Now, look, get over to my place. My car is parked in front. Your keys will be in it. When you get out of town, you better leave it and switch to something else.
Thanks. Thanks, Steve. I won't forget this.
Oh, that's all right. Glad to do it, Johnny.
You leave the drugstore, hurry down the street toward Johnny's apartment house, and arrive just in time to see Johnny step out the front door and turn into the alley. Then a figure slips out of the shadows, crosses the street, and darts into the alley after Johnny. It's done, isn't it, Steve? You're certain Johnny is dead, shot down in a dark alley by a rival gunman. Now there's only Edna to worry about. and the little black book containing the complete record of your activities as the front for Johnny's racket. It's the only link between you and Johnny and the rackets, isn't it? And once it's destroyed, you'll be free. And getting the black book from Edna isn't going to be a difficult task. You're thinking about that as you return to your apartment. Fix yourself a drink, and then...
Hello, Stevie.
Johnny.
Let me in. Let me in.
Johnny, what happened?
He messed me up pretty hard. One of Tolman's torpedoes waiting for me in the alley. But I got him, too. Let me sit down.
Yeah, sure. Sure, but I...
Thanks. Thanks for the offer. The car. But I ain't gonna make it. If I had to tip you, we'd been double-crossed.
Double-crossed?
She did it, Steve. Edna. She tipped that trigger man. And the black book, it's gone. She must have taken it. She's gonna take over with some other guy. Use you.
Yeah, no, you're wrong, Johnny. Edna wouldn't...
Look, I know. She's been meeting some guy out at West Beach. Sid found out. She's probably on her way to him now. Hey, wait a minute.
Johnny, put that gun down.
I never thought of it before. You've been going to West Beach a lot.
Are you crazy? I've always been on the level with you.
Sure. Oh, sure, I must be nuts to think you'd cross me. You're a good guy. Find out who that is.
Yeah. Who's there?
It's me, darling. Edna. I've changed my mind about keeping the black...
Edna, no!
Edna.
The book's yours. You win, Steve. I have it with me now.
The book. That sort of clears up everything, doesn't it, pal?
No. Johnny, wait!
All nice and clear.
The Whistler, previously released by CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System, for listeners in the United States, has been rebroadcast for servicemen and women throughout the world. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Good evening, creeps. Tonight, your Mystery Playhouse invites you to listen to Sanctum Mysteries. Come on out, Mr. Host.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host to welcome you through the squeaking door. Well, been shopping around for a nice case of murder? Of course you have. And you've come to the right place because the characters on this program simply kill themselves to keep you amused. Why, only the other day we were accused of making murder our business. But we wouldn't do that, friend. Oh, no. Because that would be mixing business with pleasure. And we consider it a pleasure to give some stiff for business. And now, friends, tonight's story is a triangle tale concerning a man, a woman, and a murderer. You've heard it said that those who laugh last, laugh best. But we're going to prove that it never pays to get into a laughing contest with a ghost. Because ghosts always get the last laugh.
I know he's dead. His body's been in the grave for weeks. Yet, although I tell myself it's impossible, I can hear him laugh. That raucous, mocking sound haunts me. Same laughter I heard for the first time in the courtroom. He had never laughed during all the weeks of the trial. Never even smiled. This day, when he came before me for sentencing.
John Spencer, you have been found guilty of murder in the first degree. You wish to make a statement before sentence is imposed?
I killed Hicks. I'm willing to admit it now. But he was no good. He got just what he deserved. And everybody knows it. I'm not a killer. I never committed a crime before. And all I ask now is a chance.
John Spencer, the jury took all that into consideration when it recommended life imprisonment. However, I have the power to ignore that recommendation. It is my firm conviction that to allow one man to take the law into his own hands is to encourage others to do likewise. I therefore override the recommendation of the jury and sentence you to be hung by the neck until death.
No. Judge, please. I've got a girl. We were going to be married. All I ask is to live so I can see her once in a while.
You should have thought of that before you committed murder.
It's easy for you to tell me what I should have done. But you won't always be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. When that happens, I hope they throw the book at you just like you're doing to me.
Bailiff, remove the prisoner.
Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to buzz.
Same old story. Prisoner pleads innocence or guilty with good cause. Asks mercy. When clemency is refused, condemned man curses judge and hopes that judge will someday find himself in a similar plight. Spencer's outburst failed to move me in the slightest. I'd heard it many times before. I went home to forget about the Spencer case.
Richard? Is that you, Richard?
Yes, dear. I'll come in as soon as I've freshened up.
Come right now. I've been waiting here all day. Surely it's not too much to ask to just...
All right, Laura. I'm coming.
Richard, I want you to meet my new nurse, Margaret Cummings. This is Judge Thornton that's coming. How do you do?
Miss Cummings, haven't we met before?
Well, that's hardly likely. It's probably my face. It's so ordinary.
On the contrary, Miss Cummings.
I should say your face is rather unusual.
Richard, suppose you stop that silly chatter about faces and talk to Miss Cummings about her duty.
Very well. Come into my study, Miss Cummings. We can talk better there. Sit down, please. There's not much to say, really. In the first place, my wife's heart condition isn't really dangerous.
Yes, I gathered that from Dr. Fletcher.
Oh, he told you about my wife, eh?
Oh, yes.
You're a professional person, nurse, and I believe in frankness. It makes things easier. My wife is 11 years my senior, getting on past middle age. She, is a bit worried. Not that I give her any grounds for it. Jealous. You understand?
Perfectly.
She's not an easy person to get along with. You'll have to humor her.
I'll do my best.
And, Miss Cummings.
Yes.
I was just wondering where it was that I saw you before. Escapes me. You know, Miss Cummings, your face is rather haunting. That was how it began. We played a game during those first few weeks. I would ask, Miss Cummings, where was it that I first saw you?
Don't you remember yet?
No, I don't.
Well, I do. And someday, if you're nice, I'll tell you.
We would laugh together. Having the girl in the house made me feel young again. But it didn't last. It ended one evening in Laura's room.
Richard.
Yes, dear.
Put down that newspaper. I want to talk to you.
I'm listening.
Don't you think you're going a bit too far, Richard?
Too far? What do you mean?
I mean Miss Cummings.
Oh.
I won't stand for it. I won't allow you to disgrace me in my own home with a woman who's little more than a servant.
Oh, Laura, for heaven's sake.
I may be a bedridden invalid, but there is a limit.
You're jumping to ridiculous conclusions, Laura.
Ridiculous, am I? I suppose you'll deny you're in love with Miss Cummings. That you've been carrying on with her right under my nose.
Certainly I'll deny it.
I've got eyes, Richard. I've seen you two whispering together. I've watched how you look.
Oh, you're talking utter nonsense. There's nothing between me and Miss Cummings.
Nothing?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, then, I'll give you a chance to prove what you say. I don't want Miss Cummings here. Dismiss her.
You want me to dismiss her?
Yes, Richard. I do.
Miss Cummings, well, this is going to be rather unpleasant. You see my wife?
Yes, I know. She wants me to leave.
Yes. How did you know?
I couldn't help overhearing the conversation.
Well, then you also know why she wants you to leave.
Yes. But you warned me when I first came here that she was jealous.
It's been very pleasant having you here.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss you. Miss Cummings, could I have your home address?
Of course. Why do you want it?
I hope you won't think me presumptuous, but, well, perhaps we might be able to see each other.
Would that be wise?
No, it wouldn't be wise. But I might as well face it. I couldn't hide it from Laura, and now I can't hide it from myself. I love you, Miss Cummings. That night I heard Spencer's laugh for the first time since the day in the courtroom. I set it down as a picture of the imagination born out of a feeling of guilt due to my disloyalty to Laura. I put it out of my mind. I had other things to think about. The slip of paper with Margaret Cummings' address on it was in my pocket. A dozen times during the next week I picked the telephone to call her, but something held me back. It was fear, I guess. Fear that if I saw her again, I would be taking a final, irrevocable step. And then I couldn't stand it any longer without seeing her. I dialed her number.
Hello?
Is that you, Margaret?
Yes, who is this?
This is Richard.
Richard?
Judge Thornton.
Oh, hello. How are you? It's been so long I thought you'd forgotten me.
There's little chance of that. Could I see you tonight, Margaret?
Why, yes, of course. Come over as soon as you like.
I dressed carefully. Examining myself in the mirror, I saw a tall man, still on the right side of 50. Still trim in figure and distinguished in appearance. When I got to Margaret's apartment, my heart was beating fast. Like a boy on his first date. Somehow, I don't know quite how it happened. She was in my arms. I was kissing her.
Oh, Richard.
My darling.
Oh, no, we're being foolish.
Sit down, darling. Here, beside me.
Like this?
That's perfect. Margaret. Would you marry me?
Mary, you can't be serious.
I was never more in earnest in my life.
Aren't you forgetting a little detail?
No, I'm not forgetting about Laura. She has a weak heart. She may die. And if she does...
I wouldn't count on it. Your wife takes very good care of herself. She may live to be 100.
But if she should die, would you marry me?
I don't know. It's not fair to ask me now. Not while your wife is still alive. Ask me later.
Oh, Richard. You have a pleasant evening at the club?
I didn't go to the club, Laura.
No.
No. I lied to you. I spent the evening with Margaret Cummings.
Richard.
You were right. I'm in love with her. I never knew what love meant before. I can't live without her.
You're mad. You don't know what you're saying.
I want a divorce, Laura.
Divorce? No.
I want it immediately.
You can't do this to me. Oh, my heart.
What?
Now see what you've done.
Laura.
Oh, the shock. My pills, Richard. Give them to me. Hurry. Hurry, Richard.
I knew she was pretending the heart attack.
Oh, Richard.
Hoping to play on my sympathy. That was Laura's favorite trick. It always worked before. Not this time. This time I would pretend until I was ready to act. I gave her the pills, watched her take them and sink back on the pillow.
Oh. Thank you, Richard.
Feel better now?
Yes, dear, much better. I don't know what I'd have done without you here. I would have died. Oh, Richard, say you didn't mean what you said before. Don't you see I couldn't go on living without you?
You won't have to, Laura.
Then you won't leave me for that girl.
I'll take care of you. Here, let me make you more comfortable. Pillow needs rearranging.
Yes, it does. Richard, what are you doing?
I'm fixing the pillow.
I don't want to say.
Lie still. Stop twisting around. This is much different from a heart attack. Laura, she's dead. Dr. Fletcher?
Yes?
This is Judge Thornton. Please come quickly, Doctor. My wife has had a heart attack.
It happened during an argument.
It was nothing important, Doctor. Just a domestic quarrel. And suddenly she had the attack. I gave her the pills, but by that time it was too late.
It's too bad.
I'd only known that her condition had become so dangerous.
Oh, Judge, you've nothing to reproach yourself for. These things happen.
Will you take care of the formalities, Doctor?
Oh, yes, of course.
The death certificate?
I'll list the cause as failure of the heart.
There was no need to act the part of the stricken husband after Dr. Fletcher left. I stood looking down at Laura's body. She was dead. And Dr. Fletcher's certificate would clear me of any suspicion of murder. I was free. Free to marry Margaret. I walked to Margaret's apartment that night. The street was dark. Empty. I had the uncomfortable feeling that I was being watched. Followed. And then I heard footsteps behind me. I hurried my pace. The man behind me did likewise. Frightened as I was, I decided to stop and confront the follower. He came toward me. His face and figure shadowy in the dark. What do you want? Why are you following me?
You ought to know, Judge Thornton.
Who are you? Come closer so I can... Spencer. John Spencer. It can't be. You're dead.
Dead, am I? Well, you ought to know, Judge.
Now, take it easy, mister. Take it easy. Now, just tell me what happened.
I was being followed, officer. So I turned around to see who it was.
And did you see who it was?
Yes. And that's why I fainted. The man following me was a dead man.
He was, what's that?
The man following me is dead. I know he's dead, officer.
I ought to run you in. You're crazy.
I had intended to tell Margaret that Laura was dead. I meant to ask her to marry me. But the encounter on the street drove those thoughts out of my mind. Arriving at her apartment, I went directly to the window and looked out. And there, across the street, leaning against the wall, I saw John Spencer.
Richard, I'm insulted.
What?
You didn't kiss me. You haven't even said hello.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. That man across the street, he can't be real. And yet, if he isn't...
What man, Richard?
Don't you see him?
No, there's no one across the street.
He was there a moment ago. I turned my head to talk to you, and now he's gone.
Darling, you're trembling. You must be sick.
Don't look at me like that.
Richard, what's the matter?
I guess I am sick. I'd better go and have a talk with Dr. Fletcher.
Yes, I remember the Spencer case very well, Judge Thornton. You could have spared Spencer's life, but didn't. And now you imagine that he follows you?
Yes.
But the man is dead.
Then it was his ghost that followed me. His ghost I spoke to. His ghost that laughs.
There are no ghosts, Judge Thornton. With one exception. The ghosts we carry about inside us.
What do you mean?
Well, these things you hear and see, these are hallucinations brought on by feelings of guilt. Spencer's been dead for weeks. So the question is, why should you experience guilt feelings at this late date?
I don't know.
Well, psychiatry has an explanation. Quite often in such cases, one refuses to face the guilt object and transfers his guilt feelings to some other person.
What are you driving at?
I'm suggesting that your guilt feelings are not caused by the Spencer incident. But I'm going to ask you a blunt question. Did you murder your wife?
Why, of all the idiots...
Now, just a moment, Judge. Just a moment. I've been rather uneasy about the circumstances of Mrs. Thornton's death.
But you yourself diagnosed it as a heart attack.
I accepted what you told me that night. A superficial examination of the body did indicate such a conclusion, yes, but your wife's cardiac condition was mild. Now, your guilt feelings lead me to suspect...
This murder talk is ridiculous. Were there any signs of struggle, any marks of violence? Of course not.
Mrs. Thornton might have been suffocated.
Oh, nonsense.
Perhaps. At any rate, I intend to recommend to the coroner that an autopsy be performed.
An autopsy?
Yes, it would determine whether or not death was due to suffocation. You should have no objection if I am mistaken.
You meddling fool.
Judge Thornton, put down that paper.
You are so clever.
Stay away from me.
I've gone too far now to stop at another.
I've lost my head. I should have agreed to the autopsy. That would have given me a day or two in which to plan my escape. But now, as things were, it would be only a matter of hours before Fletcher's body was discovered. My thoughts twisted and turned in panic.
Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to bust.
I ran like a frightened child. I needed help, and there was no one to turn to. Margaret. She loved me. She'd help me. I went to Margaret and told her what had happened.
You killed your wife.
For you. So we could be married.
And then Dr. Fletcher.
I had to kill him, Margaret. He was going to recommend an autopsy.
Why did you come here?
We've got to run away. We still have an hour or two. If we could charter a plane to Canada or Mexico.
What makes you think I'd run away with you?
I thought you loved me.
Don't be stupid. I'm going to turn you over to the police.
Margaret, you can't mean it.
Can't I? Just watch me.
Margaret, listen before you pick up that phone. Even if you don't love me, even if you won't go away with me, give me a chance. Have mercy.
You make me laugh. Judge Thornton, who never gave anybody else a break, pleading for mercy. Well, turn around and ask the man behind you for mercy.
Behind?
That's right.
Spencer. John Spencer.
Take another look, Judge.
No, you're not John Spencer. There's a resemblance, but you're not John Spencer.
I'm his brother.
You're the man that was following me.
That's right.
I was tricked. Led on by Margaret to kill my wife, and forced by you to betray myself to Dr. Fletcher. But why? Why, Margaret? Why did you do this?
For revenge.
Revenge?
Yes. The first day I came to your house, you thought my face was familiar. Well, now I'll tell you where it was that you first saw me. It was in the courtroom at John Spencer's trial.
Courtroom? Yes.
Yes, remember how he begged for mercy? He told you he had a girl, that he was engaged to be married, and you could have given him his life. But you sentenced him to his death.
What? For you, the girl?
Yes.
Spencer. Did he know about this?
All this was his plan. His revenge. Hello, operator. Give me police headquarters. I want to report a murder. Yes, that's right, a murder. Tell them it's very important to get here as soon as they can.
I'm waiting now for the police to come. For the trial. For the sentence, which I know will be death. As I wait, my thoughts go back to the courtroom.
You won't always be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. And when that happens, I'll be laughing.
Well, Judge Thornton certainly misjudged Margaret Cummings, which was a grave mistake. Why, he didn't have the ghost of a chance with her. She double-crossed him right into the graveyard. Oh, a word of caution. If you must commit a murder, be sure to select the proper weapon. I suggest a sharp-edged axe, because it provides you with a handy alibi. When the police want to know why you did it, you can claim the killing was accidental.
Well, good night, and thank you, Poison Puss, for your inner sanctum story, tonight's performance in the Mystery Playhouse. Until next time, creep. Good night. Sleep tight.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
Broadcasting System presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Venice Chapel. Quiet Please for tonight is called Let the Lilies Consider.
Yes, I quite understand. I quite understand. Well, your stenographer is taking down everything I say. You are witnesses. When the stenographer transcribes, there's no time to sign them, and that is my confession. Is that right? And whatever I say may be used against me. Is that right? Oh, I'll sign them all right. Where do you want me to start? At the beginning, I suppose. All right. For your record, my name is James R. James. Roderick. 41, third-generation American college graduate. UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. No occupation. No, not unemployed. No occupation. Well, I have a small but adequate income. You have my address. I was married in... Gretchen McMonish. Yes, Gretchen is a diminutive of Margaret. Margaret McMonish. An orphan.
Where's your wife now, James?
Please don't try to trap me, Lieutenant. I've told you at least 20 times where she is.
Tell me again.
Right there. There.
Look, James, we dug that place up twice now. Your wife isn't there. Where is she?
I've told you.
What did you do with her?
I didn't do anything with her, Lieutenant. I told you that.
All right. Go on.
I met her at school in 1930.
Did you bury her in the flower bed there?
May I go on?
Answer my question. Did you bury her?
No, I did not.
Then why do you keep saying she's there?
Because you killed her.
No. Well, she's dead. What killed her?
I told you she isn't dead.
You can't prove it, James.
I can prove it, Lieutenant, but you won't believe it.
Why don't you prove it then?
Shall I go on with my statement?
Did you plant that lily there to mark her grave, James?
I didn't plant that lily.
How come it grows there? How come it's so much bigger than the others? Answer me.
There were other lilies there alongside it. Before you and your men dug them up?
James, I think I know why that lily is bigger than the others.
You do?
Yes, and so do you.
You're wrong, Lieutenant.
You know why we left that lily standing, James, when we dug up the others?
Yes.
Because we know what's under it there. Because we figured the lily would remind you, would keep you thinking about your wife buried there. Because we hoped it might lead you to a confession.
It won't, Lieutenant.
You know, I have an idea that lily there is going to hang you, James.
No, it isn't. That lily loves me. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
What are you talking about?
We consider the lilies, and some of us love them. Do you suppose the lilies consider us and sometimes return our love?
I don't think you'll get by with an insanity plea, James.
I don't know very much about flowers. I don't know anything about them from the standpoint of books. I'm not interested in stamens and pistils and the anatomy of flowers. Well, I'm interested in their souls. In their souls. I believe flowers love and hate just as people do.
Shall we get along with your statement?
Yes. They love us and hate us in the proportions of the love or the hate we have for them. I said I've always loved flowers. My wife, Gretchen, she hated them. And they love me. Gretchen?
You know, James, I declare I think flowers don't like me at all. I can't do a thing with them.
You learn. I'll show you how to handle them.
I don't think I want to handle them. James, must we have so many flowers?
Why? I like them, dear.
But so many of them.
Well, I haven't anything else to do but raise flowers.
I know. That's what so bothers me. I don't like to see you wasting all your time puttering around flower beds every single hour. Goodness, I think it's just kind of wicked, James, when there's so many other things you could be doing.
Aren't you happy?
Of course I'm happy, but I could be happier if I didn't have to compete with a lot of silly flowers.
Well, I don't think they're silly.
Besides, there's so many lilies.
Well, they're so beautiful.
They're so depressing.
I love them.
That's what bothers me, James.
Why?
Well, I'm jealous of them, James.
Gretchen.
James, you do love me more than you love the flowers, don't you?
Isn't that a pretty foolish question?
James?
What?
Look. Look at the lilies.
Well, what do you...
Look at them. They're listening. They're waiting to hear what you say.
And I looked. And I tell you, there was a silence in the garden there that you could almost hear. And the lilies around us were leaning toward us as we stood there. And there was an attitude of expectancy about them, as their graceful stems bent toward us, trembling. They were listening. And suddenly Gretchen broke from my arms and ran sobbing into the house, trampling their beautiful, delicate bodies underfoot as she ran. No, I didn't follow her. I stood for a long time in the twilight, considering these lilies of the field. And they watched me, considering me in silence as I lifted up the murdered flowers from the marks of Gretchen's shoes in the soil and wept a moment for them. And I never did answer Gretchen's question. I could have answered it, but she never asked me again. Perhaps she thought she knew the answer.
So that's why you killed her. Because you thought more of the flowers than you did of her.
I didn't kill her.
Go on.
I did love Gretchen. I love her now more than I ever did.
It sounds as if you did.
We were very happy for a long time that winter. There are no flowers in the winter, and she had no cause to feel neglected. It was very pleasant here in the house. But the spring came, and the buds appeared on the trees. And one day she brought up the subject again.
James, what about the flowers this year?
I'm going to start on the gardens tomorrow.
I wish...
Wish what, darling?
Do we have to have the flowers again?
Well, we don't have to have them, but I want them.
It's been so nice all winter without them.
I've missed them.
I'd hoped you'd maybe forgotten them, James.
Forgotten them? Why, darling, I don't believe I could live without them.
If they all died, what would you do?
I don't know.
Would you die?
Well, what are you talking about, Gretchen?
I'm being very foolish and very silly, James, but I don't want the flowers. I hate flowers.
Now, dear.
I hate them.
You mustn't say that, Gretchen. They'll hate you.
That's just what's the matter. You've let those flowers become an obsession with you. You've begun to feel that they're alive, that they have feelings. You're letting these things take you away from me, and I won't have it.
Gretchen, you're being...
I said I was being silly. I know I am. But it's the truth just the same. Oh, we could do so many things this summer. Go to so many places.
But I don't want to go places, Gretchen.
You did before you went so crazy over flowers. How about those horrible lilies?
Darling, they're so beautiful.
You used to say I was beautiful.
Well, you are.
But not as beautiful as the lilies. Am I?
Why, dear, you're like a lily yourself. Your skin is so white. Your yellow hair. And that green dress.
Don't you compare me with one of those things. You hear me? I'm not like a flower. I'll never be like a flower.
Dear, please, don't...
James, do you know what I think? Sometimes I think there's something wrong with your mind. Sometimes I think you're a little crazy. Do you realize that I'm your wife, do you? Or do you think I'm married to those flowers? I won't have it. You've got to choose between those dreadful flowers and me.
I wondered if my mind was all right. There's nothing wrong with loving flowers, is there? almost everyone loves them. But for my wife to be jealous of them, I wondered for a moment whether it was my mind or hers. Yes, I did spend too much time in the gardens, I thought. And I resolved manfully to change my way, to devote only a few hours a day to cultivation and admiration of my precious lilies. I would compromise. I would try to follow my wife's wishes, try to remember her first instead of the flowers. I reckoned without the flowers. I planted only half as many this year, and Gretchen watched sullenly from the house. They came up eagerly, and I could have sworn that there were twice as many as I planted. Gretchen wouldn't speak to me for days at a time. And mornings when I awoke, I would sometimes find her staring out the window at the lushness of the garden. And in her eyes, I saw a look of awful hatred. It was her attitude, I suppose, that led me to spend more and more time in the garden. And the flowers rewarded me. They were more beautiful, more gracious, more abundant than I've ever seen them. And they returned the loving care I gave them. They poured out their love for me in waves of scent. And their leaves caressed my hands as I bent over them. And as I labored among them, they bent their perfect heads to brush against my cheek. And for long hours I could forget Gretchen, my wife. Until a rustle among the lilies caused me to look up and see my wife standing in the window of the house, gazing out hatefully at us. And the lilies and I looked back at her with something of fear in our hearts. And the garden grew and flourished beyond my fondest hopes. Slowly, I came to the realization that my garden of lilies was increasing in size. That there were hundreds more than I'd set out in the spring. And I smiled on them happily. And the lilies smiled back at me. The lilies loved me. But there was a summer night and a full moon. And I sat on the porch alone and dreamed of... What did I dream of? There was a voice. A murmurous voice above the little breeze in the garden. And the voice was without words. And yet it was the voice of a loved one. Of a lover. And it spoke to me sadly. Caressing me. In sounds that did not need the form of words. And I sat there, alone in the darkness, and listened. And at last the words came.
James!
I love you. Oh. Why, Gretchen.
James, I can't stand it any longer.
What's the matter, Gretchen?
I told you a long time ago that you've got to choose between me and those flowers.
Now, dear,
I'm not going to live in this house like a prisoner any longer. Those flowers are driving me mad. I never see you from morning till night. You've forgotten all about me. I don't even speak to you.
Oh, that's not true, Gretchen. I do love you.
But you love those flowers more.
Gretchen,
Well?
I love you.
And what are you going to do about it?
What shall I do?
Do you want the flowers or do you want me? Go, James.
Gretchen. I can't. I can't. And Gretchen turned away without another word and went into the house. I could not move. The chanting in my ears had become a hypnotic lullaby now. And my eyes closed, and I think I slept. And suddenly I was awakened by Gretchen's shrill laughter somewhere, and the flaring of a brilliant light. And the garden was a sheet of flame.
Among the lilies, Gretchen danced with a great torch excitement. The bloom shook with kerosene. And the noble tall lilies withered in its blast as she slapped it in their faces. And above the crackling of the flames, above her hysterical laughter, I could hear the keening of strange, lost voices, and I could make out words above the sound of the catastrophe that my wife had begun. And they were sad beyond belief. And I roused myself and ran to the garden, but I was too late. Like some avenging demon, my wife stood triumphant amidst the scorched and blistered dying flowers, and she laughed again. And now she thought she'd won, and there were no more flowers to be jealous of. And when the sun rose in the morning, I went sadly out of the house to contemplate the miserable remains of my loved one. It was as if nothing had happened in the dreadful night. The lilies that I had last seen, smoldering in the moonlight, had raised their smiling heads again, and there was no sign of fire about them. And listen to this, you who refuse to believe that flowers, too, live and reason and love. There were thousands more lilies now than there'd been the night before. They had burst the bounds of the garden, and they extended halfway across the graveled walk that bordered the garden. And from the house came the despairing sobbing of the woman who had tried desperately to destroy the flowers. I had feared for my wife's sanity. Now I feared for my own. It was hours before she could do more than weep. At last she spoke to me.
James, I'm going to leave here.
No, Gretchen.
I've got to. I didn't believe, but...
I won't let you go.
You don't love me. Why should I stay? Save one. They'll never forgive me. They'll kill me.
No.
James, I want you to listen to me. I love you. I'll always love you.
I love you, Gretchen.
But you love the flowers more than you do me.
No, I don't.
You don't mean that.
I do mean it.
But it's no use. They love you, James. They're going to have you. I tried to destroy them, and they can't be destroyed. If I don't get away from here...
I can't let you go, Gretchen.
I love you, James.
Stay.
What if I do stay? I'll die. They'll have you.
No.
They hate me.
Gretchen.
They love you. What can I do?
Well, I don't know, but...
You can't fight them. You won't fight them.
I know I can't fight them. They love me.
And I love you, James. It's too late now to choose.
I won't let them have you. I love you.
Look at the window.
I looked at the window. Outside stood another lily. There had been none there before this morning. There it stood. And as I raised my head, I could see more and more of them all the way across the lawn, overflowing the garden walls. Thousands of them, each with its flower cup turned toward the house, each one listening. And I turned back to Gretchen, miserable and afraid. She'd risen from the bed and was standing before her dresser. Gretchen, I called. For I knew what was in the second drawer of her dresser.
There's no other way, James.
Put it down, Gretchen. We'll think of a way.
There's no other way. I don't know how this has happened, but I believe now. I believe they love you, James, and they hate me.
Gretchen, no. Put it down.
No, James. This is the way out. It's the only way out. I won't let them have you. I won't give you up.
And she raised the pistol until it pointed straight at my heart. And I said once more, no, Gretchen.
It has to be this way, James. And then I'll go out and give myself up to them. Darling, I love you.
I must have lain
My side pained horribly. And it was a long time before I could reconstruct what had happened. And I lay there thinking, wondering, what had happened to Gretchen? Was I to die here alone? Was she dead too?
Love.
And then I heard the voice again.
Love
Gretchen.
you. You will not die. Gretchen has not died. We love you. We want you to be happy. You love Gretchen. Gretchen lives. Gretchen loves you.
And I drifted away again into the gathering darkness, with the voice
Love
still ringing.
Love you. Love you.
It's a fine story, James.
Yes.
You didn't tell us before that you'd been shot.
Here's the scar.
Yeah. What became of your wife?
That's a remarkably beautiful lily there. The big one. The one you couldn't remove when you were digging.
Well?
Gretchen was gold and white like a lily. Gretchen's green dress was the color of leaves.
What are you trying to tell me, James?
Do you see something on the stem of that lily, Lieutenant?
Where?
Just below the flower.
Let me see. It's a ring.
Our wedding ring.
How'd it get there?
Gretchen.
What?
I told you she was here with us. Darling.
Love you. Love you. Love you.
No, I didn't get it signed, Chief. There wasn't anybody there to sign it. I'm telling you. I heard the voice myself. It kept saying, love you, love you, love you. That's right. We looked around to see where it was coming from, and when we turned around again, James was gone. I don't know. All I know is there were 2 lilies there now, close together, great big ones. And they looked as if they had their arms around each other. Quiet Please for Tonight was called Let the Lilies Consider. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper. James, the man who spoke to you, was Ernest Chappell.
And Kathleen Cordell played Gretchen. The voice of the lilies was Peggy Stanley, and James Bowles was the police lieutenant. As usual, music for Quiet Please was played by Albert Bremen. Now, for a word about next week, here is our writer-director, Willis Cooper.
Of course, you'll never meet any of the characters in tonight's story. They didn't exist before I thought them up, and they're not imitations of anybody. Next week's Quiet Please story will be called Tahiti Tahiti.
And so, until next week at this time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
Quiet Please comes to you from New York and was transcribed earlier from Eastern Mutual for this presentation. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Empty road. The prison gate clanged shut behind him. Paul Clark is a free man again. Dark and
foreboding thoughts in his mind grow louder and louder, and finally his inner turmoil speaks to him.
Take it easy, Clark. Relax. The bus for the city will be along any minute. Waiting. Best years of my life. 15 years wasted. Ruined. You're 45 now, Clark. Worse, you're a broken-down ex-convict. Old before your time. Grant? Yes, old Grant could have saved you from this 15 years ago.
I won't lift my little finger, Clark, to save a hair on your head.
The hairs on your head are thin and white now, Clark. Thanks to Grant. And to his daughter, Joanne.
I despise you. I don't care what happens to you.
And don't for a minute forget Harold, your best friend.
You're done, Paul. Finished. And as for Joanne, she's promised to marry me.
Oh, they've been safe and smug and rich, those three. All those 15 years. Here's the bus coming. Now to make them pay for wrecking your life.
Eye for an eye. A tooth for a tooth. A life.
A life. Oh, no. 3 lives. For the living deaths they've caused you, Clark. All 3 of them have to die. What are they staring at? These other passengers. Is there something in your face, your looks, your manner, giving away murder in your heart? Get hold of yourself, Clark. Don't pay any attention to anyone. Look out the window. There's the skyline of the city beginning to loom up ahead now.
The city. Almost in the palm of my hand, I thought once.
You were making big money in spite of the crash and the depression. You were young, smart, on your way to millions.
Millions, billions, all lost on account of Grant.
What did you say?
I was thinking out loud, I guess.
Watch yourself, Clark. You would spoil everything if even a stray word reached Grant's ears of how you intend to get even for that time back in 1930. It came to a head that day you stormed into his office.
Wait, Mr. Clark. Mr. Grant will be furious if you burst into his private office without being announced.
Hold your breath, Miss Seymour. I'll announce myself. Clark, I distinctly told my secretary. He told me, Grant, you're in conference. All by yourself, I see. Well, I need $500,000 quick. For me? Before the market closes this afternoon. My stocks are on the bargain. Unless I cover my margins, I'll be wiped out. Tomorrow, I promise those stocks will skyrocket again. You and your market-rigging crowd will manipulate that, I take it. If you survive today, I've warned you, Clark. I won't back up your shady operation. My operations needn't concern you. You're not involved. All I'm asking is a legitimate loan until tomorrow to save my neck. I won't lift my little finger, Clark, to save a hair on your head. Do I have to remind you your daughter is engaged to marry me? I'm all too well aware you want to marry Joanne for my financial support and no other reason. So you'd let your own daughter go under, too? You can't pull Joanne down with you, Clark. Sooner or later, her eyes will open and see what a scoundrel you really are. You're so righteous. Might have known better than to come to you. You're beyond saving, Clark. Now, please get up.
Puny $500,000 meant nothing to Grant that day, Clark. Yet he forced you to raise it somewhere else. Somehow, anyhow, from the funds of your own clients. He's had 15 years to gloat over ruining you. But he hasn't got much longer. This news item you took out of the paper in a prison library.
took his usual brisk, solitary walk along the rocky bluffs of his suburban estate, overlooking the sea. A man over 70 won't wait for you to revenge yourself, Clark. He might die a peaceful, natural death any time now. You know those rocky bluffs, Clark. You know the roaring ocean pounding on those crags way below them.
Ladies, terminal, everybody. Everybody out, please.
First thing to do is to find a hideout here in the city. Some inconspicuous, obscure rooming house where nobody will remember or recognize Paul Clark or care who you are or what you do.
Joanne, why pour yourself in Harold brandy and nothing for me?
70 or 100, I suppose you insist on your after-dinner brandy, Dad.
Well, I'm going out for my nightly stroll.
Stroll, Dad. Your strolls are pretty strenuous. Be careful, darling, won't you? Those cliffs are so steep and deserted.
Why, what's come over you, Joanne? I walked those bluffs all my life. Now, don't worry about me. I'll be back in a little while.
You've lost your chance for But Joanne and Harold are left.
Even Grant might not have wrecked you if Joanne had stood by you, Clark. That evening when Joanne told you almost the minute you arrived.
I'm not going to marry you, Paul.
Is this some kind of a joke, Joanne?
You left your briefcase here, Paul. The one you brought with you from your office last night.
Have you been prying into that briefcase?
Dad told me today that you needed $500,000 yesterday to save yourself from being wiped out in the stock market. You weren't wiped out today. You made a prenup.
So, you had to go snooping into my briefcase. All right. I did juggle a few figures, wrote in some paper losses from my clients yesterday. I'll make up for it with paper profits for them some other day. Nobody will ever know the difference.
I will. I've tried to have faith in you, Paul. I've tried to deny to myself what people have whispered and hinted about you. But now I can't be the wife of a man I know is a thief.
And you're running out to tell the whole world.
You say that you'll restore the money you've embezzled. I won't go out of my way to expose you, Paul. But if there ever should be an investigation, I'd have to tell the truth.
Joanne, I love you. You still love me. If you go through with this silly business of being so precious upright, it may ruin me.
That's all that's really worrying you, isn't it? Not losing me, but how much it might hurt you. You know, I've never felt this way until just this minute, but I despise you. I don't care what happens to you, and I never want to see you again.
She walked out on you, Clark. People began to talk. Old Grant was asking embarrassing questions in the stock market about how you had covered your margins. You couldn't take a chance on rectifying those clients' accounts you had juggled, even if you wanted to. Then you went to Harold Schuyler and begged him to help you.
I don't see how I can help, Paul. You're my best friend, Harold. Joanne's always admired you. Persuade her to take up with me where we left off until this thing blows over. Just for appearance's sake, if nothing else. Maybe that would put a stop to these stories going on around about me. It might even shut our father up. I tell you, these foolish rumors are going to break me if they keep up.
Are they just foolish rumors, Paul?
You don't believe them, do you?
It's hard to tell you this, Paul. There's nothing I wouldn't have done to help you if you'd been honest. But now, well, I love Joanne, Paul. I always have.
You sneaking hypocrite.
I've never let Joanne know my feelings toward her. As long as she loved you, or there was a chance you really loved her. Or as long as you could make her happy. But you're done, Paul. Finished. And she's promised to marry me. I'm sorry, but you may as well know how things stand.
It was Joanne's testimony that clinched your prison sentence, Clark. Grant's been dead 3 months now. But Joanne and Harold are still on the old man's estate. And Harold comes into the city every day
to run Grant's business.
Harold is enjoying all that wealth and power you should have inherited, Clark. Joanne drives Harold, not you, to that little suburban railroad station to catch the morning commuter's train every day. There's a long, steep grade and a sharp S-curve at the underpass leading to that depot. Remember?
A high stone revetment at the bottom on both sides of that curve.
Loosen the curtain in, Clark, in the steering mechanism of their car. The way Joanne speeds down that grade and takes that S-curve, they'll crash into that railroad station, all right? Another accident, Clark. But this one is going to be your doing. Revenge. Finally.
afternoon commuter's train from the city.
Late afternoon train? Only Joanne dead.
Fate is against you, Clark. Blocking you at every turn.
No.
Joanne was killed yesterday afternoon. The idea was only then coming to you to loosen the cotter pin. She was already dead while you were thinking about it.
Why? Why, Grant gone, Joanne gone. Why couldn't I have killed him? Thank heaven Harold is still alive.
He's all that's left. Your last chance for revenge, Clark. This can't be an accident.
Out and out murder.
Harold played into your hands, Clark, when he moved into the city apartment house after Joanne's funeral. Nobody saw you come into the building just now.
Harold's home, all alone. Manservant's off for the night.
Yes. There'd be a decanter. Harold always had a decanter around. It may take some tricky doing to slip the pulverized poison tablets out of your pocket into the liquor.
I'll have to take a drink with him.
And then leave quickly to clean the poison out of your own system with an antidote. But Harold will die in agony. This is the critical moment, Clark, when Harold opens this door.
Oh, Clark. Just heard Harold. Come in, Paul. Must you be leaving so soon, Paul?
I only dropped in for a few minutes, Harold, but it's good to be reconciled with you once more.
It almost calls for a toast. I'll pour a couple of drinks, Paul. Help me, Paul. Please. Suspense.
Dead? He didn't touch a drink, but he's dead? He died in agony, Clark. But your poison didn't kill Harold.
Fate, eaten again by fate. There's no justice. I'm dead.
The poison, Clark. The poison you put in the decanter.
Still in the glasses, too.
You would have had to risk leaving it behind if Harold had taken a drink. There's no point now in leaving incriminating evidence. Pour out the liquor. Wash the decanter and the glasses. Take care you don't leave any fingerprints. Hurry. Cover your tracks and get away from here. Police investigating the death last night of Harold Schuyler found a bottle of poison tablets used as an insecticide in Schuyler's medicine cabinet. Beside it, an almost identical bottle containing harmless nerve tablets of the same size. Go ahead. Open it. You've done nothing.
You, Paul Clark?
Yes?
You're under arrest, Clark, for the murder of Harold Schuyler.
I didn't do it. He took a poison tablet by mistake.
Clever of you, wasn't it, Clark? Planting that poison tablet bottle beside the other one so we'd jump at the mistake theory.
Well, I didn't do it, I tell you.
You were too clever, Clark. The decanter was empty and washed clean when the body was discovered. Not a fingerprint on it, not even Schuyler. But his servant says Schuyler never let that decanter get less than half full.
Well, I'm innocent, I swear it.
We drained the trap from the Schuyler's bathroom washbowl, Clark. Chemical analysis proved there are traces of bichloride of mercury in it. You bought a bottle of bichloride of mercury tablets the other day.
To exterminate vermin.
Kitchen vermin, you told the druggist. Where's your kitchen? Where are the tablets you bought? You don't have a kitchen in this room, Clark. We've searched. You don't have any of the poison left that you bought either. That might have been some alibi.
If I had the poison left that I meant to kill Harold with, I might prove my innocence. That's ironical. That's funny. I am innocent, but you don't believe it. No jury will believe it. A man who couldn't kill guilty of murder.
To be hanged by the neck until dead. Dead.
How can I, an innocent man? That would be murder. I want justice. I want justice.
You'll get all the justice that's coming to you, Clark. Come on now.
No. No. This is murder. Murder. Murder.
My teeth had gotten so stained from smoking, I finally bought Topol. Topol's kind of expensive compared to regular toothpaste, but compared to what I spend on cigarettes...
Topol Smoker's Tooth Polish, a combination of polishing agents and a rich foaming cleanser, is specially formulated to help remove ugly yellow tobacco stains. Yet laboratory research has proven Topol...